Hello and servus from Upper Austria. Now, if you're visiting this part of the world, you'll probably want to see some mountains and maybe a pretty alpine town or two. So when we had friends over from the UK, we took them to one of our favourite areas, the Traunsee Lake. This is where the Upper Austrian Prealps begin, and with Traunstein rising vertically out of the water, this place is a visual treat. Now, Traunsee has featured in a couple of my earlier videos, and I make no apologies for that. It's beautiful. In this video, I'll take you back to this beautiful lake in the Salzkammergut region. We'll visit the village of Traunkirchen, and I'll show you the beautiful lakeside apartment where we stayed. But first, let's revisit Gmunden. It's a very pretty town with about 13,000 inhabitants on the northern edge of the Traunsee Lake. On the left of this aerial picture, you can see a little island connected to the shore with a bridge. That's Schloss Ort. More about that shortly. Naturally, our guests loved this gorgeous lakeside destination. They had time to ride the cable car and to see the spectacular view over Traunsee from Grünberg. We'd already been up there not long before, so my partner and I decided to do a bit more exploration at ground level. And even though it's a relatively small town, there are always nooks and crannies awaiting discovery in Gmunden. And we found this, the Arkadenhof. It's a beautiful arcaded courtyard hidden away behind a traditional hat shop called the Haas Hüte. This traditional house is about 800 years old. In summer and at Christmas the courtyard is open to the public and it's well worth a peek. And on the street outside there's a plaque which tells us that Gmunden had a horse-drawn railway as long ago as the 1830s. Now, last year I fell in love with the old trams running from the railway station down to the lake. These pictures are from May 2018. The town's single tram line has been extended and it now runs across this bridge. The extension was opened later in 2018 and has modern trams. I didn't see any of the old trams running, so maybe they've been scrapped, which would be a shame. Now, turning our attention back to Traunsee, Gmunden is well known for its castle in the lake, which is accessed via a 123-metre long footbridge. We all loved visiting this place, which was founded around 1080. It's one of the oldest buildings in the Salzkammergut region of Austria, and it owes much of its fame to a German-Austrian television series. For 8 years, up until 2004, this was Schloss Ort, a TV drama which told the story of hotel owner Wenzelhofer and his children. In fact, Schloss Ort has had a lot of owners over the years, including Holy Roman emperors, and it was owned by Austria's penultimate emperor, Franz Joseph I, from 1914. Since 1995, the Schloss Ort has been owned by the municipality of Gmunden. Walking around the castle and then along the lakeside, there are some more spectacular views to enjoy. One thing I particularly like to see is the glittering diamond effect of sunlight reflecting off the lake. Well, all that exploring did make us hungry and thirsty, and Gmunden had the solution. We had a great lunch at Naschmarkt am Graben, which is a cosy cafe and delicatessen a little way back from the lakeside. It's well worth seeking this place out. My pasta dish was delicious. There was also time for coffee at Café Schubert, right down by the lakeside, where we observed a large-scale game of chess. And then, a little bit later, there was also time for cake nearby at the more traditional Konditorei Grallinger. You can eat a lot in Austria. It seems to me that cake is like a national religion here. For this trip, we stayed at Zee 31, which is a small group of apartments perched on a hillside overlooking the lake. A feature of these apartments is the large corner windows, which allow for a fabulous view right across Traunsee. There's also a wood-burning stove, which we didn't need, and plenty of space for cooking and socialising. And there's even a sauna thrown in. As I mentioned in my Tyrol video, saunas are very popular in Austria, and we made good use of this one. These apartments are just a few kilometres south of Gmunden, and with the scenery around here, this could be a destination in itself if you just wanted to chill out for a couple of days and maybe not go too far. Just strolling along the lakeshore here, I very quickly felt myself relaxing and the stresses of life ebbing away. There's a lakeside road that runs between the apartments and the lake, and directly across that road is a small private lake access with a boat dock. And just 50 metres further on from that is an idyllic meadow bathing area with a jetty which everyone can use. The Z31 apartments are situated in a little bay on the western side of the lake, and the small and picturesque town of Traunkirchen lies a little to the south, built around the promontory that juts into the lake near the bottom of this aerial picture. Traunkirchen is an easy walk along the lakeshore from where we were staying, so off we went to see our second Traunsee town, walking south and following the Lakeside road. And Traunkirchen is difficult to miss because it sticks out into the lake. With fewer than 2,000 inhabitants, it's a lot smaller than Gmunden, but people have lived in this area since the early Stone Age. The mountains and lake views here are simply stunning, and the views are quite different to the views from Gmunden, so it's well worth the effort of coming here as well. It's easy enough to drive here too, following the Lakeside road from Gmunden, and there's also a train from Gmunden to Traunkirchen, which goes on to Ebensee and Bad Ischl, or you can arrive by boat. The boat service runs from the end of April to early October. We enjoyed walking around Traunkirchen. It's relatively peaceful in October, but the weather can be quite cool and changeable, which is a good enough reason to head into a cafe for coffee and cake. This is the Café Johannisberg, and it's just a stone's throw from the lakeside. When you're walking around the town, the Pfarrkirche Maria Krönung, or the parish church of the Coronation of the Virgin Mary, is hard to miss. It has a small but immaculately kept cemetery overlooking the lake, and it also has a richly decorated Baroque interior. The current parish church dates from the 1630s, after the previous building was destroyed by fire. A special attraction here is the Fischerkanzel, or fisherman's pulpit. It was carved in 1753 by an unknown artist. Outside, if you look up, you can see another church, the Johannisberg Kapelle. And nearby we also found this lovely little art gallery as we walked around. It's the Erlass Gallery on Klosterplatz. It's just a couple of minutes' walk from the parish church. They exhibit works from a wide variety of artists. They're very friendly in there, and it's well worth a look. And just off the main road and up from the church is a museum of needlework, the Handarbeitsmuseum. This fascinating museum is run by friendly volunteers. Now, I've always found history fascinating, but I must admit that I had no previous interest in needlework. Nevertheless, I'm so glad that we took the time to visit this amazing gem of a place. Of course, I loved seeing the traditional costumes, but I also found the old machines fascinating, including the traditional spinning machine, this ancient Juwel sewing machine, and this somewhat less ancient knitting machine. We also saw a fine example of the golden bonnet, a part of the women's traditional costume. The original wearers belonged to the high-status scythe-maker guilds, which were industrial royalty at the turn of the 18th and 19th centuries. So that's it, another visit to Traunsee, and it amazes me just how much there is to see in this small corner of Austria. We love revisiting places like Gmunden and exploring new towns like Traunkirchen. We always find something new to enjoy in this part of the Salzkammergut region, and that's why we'll be coming back. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click the like button below and subscribe to my channel, and maybe leave some comments in the comments section below. I hope to see you again very soon with more from Austria, and in the meantime you can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. So that's all for now. Bye!